Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here with another extravagant few minutes live on 12 Ounce Sports and, of course, on our YouTube channel, which is 12 Ounce Sports. We invite you to subscribe to that channel. You can get all of our latest content, all of our shows on 12 Ounce Sports, all of our power plays and the highlights, including of the 2025 ACHA National Tournament. Day 2 is upon us here in St. Louis at the Centene Center. M1, that's men's Division 1. They took center stage yesterday with 8 games to determine the opening round winners as they move on to day 2. 4 games on the docket. 4 of the winners get the day off today. The other 4 get to play the top 4 seeds in the tournament on the men's Division 1 level. Also, the men's Division 2, they kick off with the opening round of pool play. They get 3 games guaranteed in their pool play to determine the final 4 for Division 2 coming up a little bit later on at the first of next week on Monday. Division 2 plays 5 games in 5 days, and then they go round robin for 3 days, then the semifinals and the finals. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but right now let's get to men's Division 1 from yesterday. Some great games, including the opener between Oswego State and Indiana Tech. Number 13 Indiana Tech against number 20 Oswego. Oswego, the darlings last year at the 24 seed, winning their opening game with an upset over a 9 seed. Well, they continued that trend yesterday as a 20 seed against Indiana Tech. Indiana Tech scored a couple of goals in the opening period. Austin Beck and Malik Ali sandwiched around a Zach Dorito goal to make it 2-1 after 20 minutes of play. But Oswego tied it up in the second period by Carter Williams. No scoring in the third period. Then in overtime, Josh Laveria got the game winner in overtime about 6.5 minutes in. Oswego State moves on. A 3-2 overtime victory over Indiana Tech. They get to take on Liberty, the number 4 seed. First thing this morning, 10:15 local time on the USA rink here at Centene. So it'll be number 4 against number 20. In the second game over on the NHL rink here, it was 14th seed Mary against 19th seed Pittsburgh. And Mary came away with a 4-0 win over Pitt. 40-29 shots on goal advantage for Mary. First period goals, Dylan Cunningham and Cray Dawson, 11:54, 19:23. Joe Gronholz, 40 seconds into the second period. That was the backbreaker, really, as Mary went up 3-0. Then they got a goal in the third period. Gronholz again, his second of the game at 7:27. That made it 4-0, and that was the final score. So Mary moves on in the opening round. They're going to take on Ohio, 1:30 local time here on Flow Sports. I'll have the play-by-play of that one. In the third game over on the NHL rink, it was Oklahoma and Arizona, 15th ranked Arizona, 18th ranked Oklahoma. And Arizona came out with 3 third-period goals after a scoreless couple of periods to pull away with a 3-0 victory, out shooting Oklahoma 35-26. Brian Erickson at 10:37. He got the game winner, if you will. Then at 13:08 on the power play, Dylan Walker got the insurance goal, and then an empty netter from Eddie Slack at 18:07. That was the difference. 3-0 Oklahoma, or check that, Arizona over Oklahoma. Arizona gets to take on the Skating Rebels, last year national tournament runner-up. That's going to be at 4:45 Central Time. That ought to be a decent one. Those 2 teams from the WCHL, they played against each other a few times, so we'll see how that one shapes up. And finally, last night over on the NHL rink, it was Purdue Northwest against Midland. That one turned out to be a high-scoring affair. Purdue Northwest, the 17th seed. Midland, the 16th seed. And it was the pride of Purdue Northwest, 9-4 over Maryland. 2-2 after 20 minutes of play. It was Colin Ledoux at 5:30 for Purdue Northwest and Bryce Jacobson at 10:42. They jumped out to a 2-0 lead. On Midland, a couple of goals from Thomas Babb at 11:17 and 17:36. Tied it up after 1. Second period, it was all Purdue Northwest. Mason Cole, Carter Hobbs, and Chase Solberg. 3 unanswered goals to make it 5-2. They would up that lead to 6-2. Hayden Maslowski at 1:19. 6-2, and they wouldn't look back. Mylan Brecko at 2:56. Hayden Maslowski again for Purdue Northwest as they went up 7-3. And then Mylan Brecko with his second of the night for Midland. And then it was Andrew Reamer for Purdue Northwest, and then Noah Murphy, an empty netter, to make it 9-4. So Purdue Northwest, their prize, if you will, they get the top seed of the tournament 8 o'clock local time. That's going to be the Minot State Beavers. And so that ought to be a dandy contest as well. The other games yesterday, these teams, these winners are going to play on Sunday. They get a day to think about it. Grand Canyon, 12 seed. They took care of Delaware 5-1. Second period, it was all Grand Canyon as they got 3 goals. Hunter Schmitz at 150, Colton Gherkin at 17:34. Schmitz again on the power play at 18:18. That made it 3-0. And then Jack Dolan in the third period at 4:08 made it 4-0. And Luis Mateo Roel at 6:53 got Delaware on the board. And Owen Hansen at 15:19. Grand Canyon with a 5-1 win. They get to play on Sunday. We'll tell you about that matchup tomorrow. Calvin taking on John Carroll, the 11 versus 22 seed. Calvin jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the opening period. Christoph Petrel at 5:16. Then it was Tanner Plinta tying it up for John Carroll at 15:34. And then it was Daniel Ciso at 6:18. Tony Eaton, an empty net power play goal at 19:53. Calvin, they play Saturday afternoon at 1:30 for the third straight year in the second round against the defending national champion, Adrian Bulldogs. Number 10, Maryville, a 4-1 win over Northwood. First period goal, Northwood jumped out to a 1-0 lead on their first shot of the game. Connor Stemke, 7:57, a blast on the top shelf. But then it was Maryville after that. James Vermeesh at 5:46, Chad McElwain at 13:44 on the power play, and then Jackson Zloty, a couple of goals, 10:32, and then the empty netter at 18:08. That's the difference. Maryville outshot Northwood 37-13 in that one. So Maryville next up for them on Saturday. They're going to take on Niagara. And finally, in the nightcap last night, Drury over Westchester, 3-0. No scoring in the opening period, but the second period, KT Walters on the power play, 27 seconds in. That turned out to be the game winner. And then Ethan O'Rourke at 1:49, they jumped out to a quick 2-0 lead in the second period. And then Devin Jameson on the power play at 19:27, with making it 3-0. They outshot Westchester by the score of 30-23. Drury will take on Utah in the nightcap on Saturday. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll give you a quick look at Division II as their pool play starts right after this here on 12 Ounce Sports. Buddy, Captain Lou here from the Extravaganza, which airs live every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, right here on 12 Ounce Sports. Hey, are you a fan of hockey? How about the Stanley Cup? More importantly, how about the Detroit Red Wings? Well, if you are, I've got just the giveaway for you. Keith Gabe, former longtime reporter for the Detroit Free Press and the Dallas Morning News. He covered that Red Wing run in the late 90s and early 2000s, and his latest book is out, The Grind Line, talking about the heart and soul of that Red Wings team. I've got a copy for you. All you got to do is email me your favorite Grind Line story, Red Wings story, Stanley Cup, I don't care. If you want to get in on the drawing, go to sweetlou1965@yahoo.com. Follow me on X or Facebook. It's right there on the bottom of the screen. It's a great book. It's a great read. Had a chance to talk with Keith Gabe about it on the Extravaganza. You can see that interview archived on 12 Ounce Sports on our YouTube page. So that's right, the Grind Line. It could be yours. Just enter. Check it out on the bottom of the screen for your way to enter. Right here on 12 Ounce Sports. It's a great book. It's a great read. Yeah, again, want to thank Keith Gabe for coming on my other podcast about a month ago or so and talking about that Grind Line and the 97-98 Red Wings. That was such a fun time to be a Red Wings fan, as they got the first of their back-to-back Stanley Cups, first of 4 in a 12-year span. And the heart and soul, the guts of that team, of course, was the Grind Line, led by Darren McCarty and his cast of characters. All right, back to an extravagant few minutes. Day 2 of the national tournament here from for the ACHA from the Centene Ice Center in St. Louis. The men's Division II tournament starts up today. We've got some dandy matchups. What I'm going to try to do right now is show you what we've got here for the pool setup for men's Division II, as we've got some interesting matchups in the pool play, and I want to kind of bring you what we call the pool of death right out of the chute there. Lindenwood, Utah, Northeastern, and Indiana. Lindenwood, many regard them as one of the top teams in Division II. They get to start out with the defending national champion Indiana Hoosiers. That's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on this afternoon, as those two teams do battle in a 1 versus 4 seed. Indiana, of course, no stranger to making their way through pool play as a 4 seed. A few years ago, you remember they got to the semis in Boston. Then last year they won it all against Miami in overtime. So that's kind of a neat pool to keep an eye on right there. In Pool B, Montana State and RPI will do battle Wisconsin and Ohio. Ohio made it through pool play as well as a 3 seed. Another matchup I want to keep an eye on in Pool D, it's going to be Florida Gulf Coast and Maryville. That ought to be a fun one to look at. And St. Thomas and Liberty, 2 versus 3 seed in Pool C. Those are kind of the highlighted matchups that we've got this afternoon and this morning. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Real quick, let's give you the matchups here. Opening day on Friday. Again, we mentioned it. Metro State, Denver, they're going to take on Connecticut College right out of the chute at 11 local time. St. Thomas and Liberty, we talked about that, 11:15 Central Time. That's a 2 versus 3 in their pool. Northeastern and Utah, they get an afternoon matchup at 2 o'clock, and then Ohio and Wisconsin at 2:15. Another one we told you about, Florida Gulf Coast and Maryville at 5 o'clock local time. Texas and Army, 1 versus 4 at 5:15. And then tonight, Indiana and Lindenwood, 8 o'clock local time. We're going to keep an eye on that one over on the NHL rink, one of the 3 here at the Centene Center. Lindenwood, we talked about it, one of the top teams in Division II all year. Indiana, they're bringing the belt with them, the defending national champions in Division II as a 4 seed. And finally, in the nightcap over on the Playger rink, it's going to be Montana State against RPI. So, yeah, we got a great set of games coming up here today. Division I, Day 2, Round 2, it gets underway with 4 games. And then D2, they start their pool play. Remember, Division I, it's single elimination. Win or go home. D2, they start pool play. All of those teams are guaranteed 3 games. All right, that's going to do it here for another extravagant few minutes on 12-ounce sports as we get you caught up on Day 2 of the 2025 National ACHA National Tournament. And again, we'll be back tomorrow with Day 3, a look at what happened today and a preview of what's coming up on Day 3 of the 2025 National Tournament. Hey, thanks for letting us come into your homes, on your computer screens, your televisions, however you watch us around the world on Roku or on YouTube or on your iPhones. That's 12-ounce sports. Captain Lou saying, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. Until next time, so long, everybody.